Dual Cultivation, WN, Chapter 78, Depraved Techniques. Outside Su Yang's living quarters, an elderly woman stood before the door with a nervous expression on her face. This elderly woman was Elder Wu, the sect elder who happened to be there for Su Yang's inner court disciple examination. Why did the matriarch order me to come here, specifically me? This is the young bullying the old. Elder Wu didn't want to come here, nor did she wish to see Su Yang, especially not after what happened at the examination hall. However, since this was an order coming from the matriarch, she had no other choice but to appear here. A few moments after knocking on the door, Su Yang appeared before Elder Wu at the door. Outer Court Disciple Su Yang, I am here to inform you that you have passed the assessment with flying colors. Congratulations on becoming an inner court disciple, said Elder Wu as she handed him a new identity badge and 5 spirit stones. 500 premium points and 5 spirit stones has been given to you as a gift for passing the exam. Additionally, you will now be supplied with 3 spirit stones at the beginning of every month. Furthermore, you now have the privilege to enter the Chamber of Embrace at a price of premium points or spirit stones. Chamber of Embrace? Su Yang, who has never heard of such a place, asked. It's a divine spot within the Profound Blossom sect. If you cultivate there with your partner, the effects will be doubled. Oh, such a place exists here? Su Yang's eyes slightly opened with surprise, his gaze filled with curiosity. Could this divine spot possibly have that growing there? I will make sure to visit there when I have the time, he said. Elder Wu nodded, and she continued. Once you are ready to receive your things, you can head to the distribution center to receive your new robes as an inner court disciple. It is also where you go to receive your monthly spirit stones. Do you have any questions for me before I leave? I do have one. What are the requirements to become a core disciple? Su Yang's unexpected question dumbfounded Elder Wu. He'd just become an inner court disciple and he already wants to take the test for core disciples. However, as ridiculous as Su Yang looked in Elder Wu's eyes, she still said, one of the biggest requirements is that you must reach the true spirit realm before you are 21 years old. The next requirement is that you must participate in the regional tournament. Regional tournament? It's a tournament held only once every 4 years at the Holy City, the largest city in the Eastern Continent, where geniuses under the age of 30 from all over the Eastern Continent gather to showcase their talents in a duel against each other. The winner of the tournament will not only receive a handsome reward that's worth a fortune, but they will also get the rare chance to meet the rulers of the Eastern Continent and its 4 great family, the Xie dynasty. The Xie dynasty? Su Yang suddenly recalled Xie Xingfang, the young lady who he'd given an immortal grade technique so she could cultivate her heavenly constitution, the 100 Poisons body. While Su Yang had easily guessed that Xie Xingfang was someone of a profound background back then, he didn't expect her family to be the overlord of the Eastern Continent. When is the next region tournament? He asked with the intention of joining, as he has unfinished business with Xie Xingfang. The next one is at the beginning of next year. There is still another 5 months until then. Are you intending to join? Asked Elder Wu. Naturally, if that is what I need in order to become a core disciple. Also, you do not have to win the tournament in order to take the examination. You just need to enter the arena once. I understand, he nodded. When she finished speaking, Elder Wu realized that she'd stayed for longer than intended, so she quickly said her farewells and turned to leave. After she left, Su Yang went back into the house. When he closed the door and turned around, he noticed a figure was staring at him from the room that was beside his room. It was his roommate that he hasn't seen in a while, Tang Hu. Su Yang's eyebrows raised upon seeing Tang Hu's horrible-looking appearance and pale complexion. Heavens, what happened to you? I thought for an instant that I was looking at a ghost when I first saw you. Su Yang said to him, who looked extremely sick. Why you are an inner court disciple now? Instead of answering Su Yang's question, Tang Hu wanted to make sure that he'd heard their conversation properly. That's right, Su Yang nodded. Is that so? See, congratulations to you, I guess, Tang Hu said in a weak voice, sounding as though he was already out of breath. Seeing his unusual appearance, Su Yang narrowed his eyes at Tang Hu. You. Before Su Yang could say anything, Tang Hu quickly went back into his room and closed the door. Su Yang stood there silently with a pondering expression on his face. After standing there for a few moments, he released a long sigh before returning to his room. What's the matter now? Cho Aiwi asked him the moment she saw his face, reading his nonchalant expression like an open book. Do you know of depraved techniques? Su Yang suddenly asked her. Depraved techniques? Is it something like forbidden techniques? Cho Aiwi shook her head, even she has never heard of such a thing before. Right, just like forbidden techniques that are frowned upon in the cultivation world because of the corrupt methods required to cultivate them, depraved techniques deprives the users of their morality and drives them into doing heinous acts, mostly in a sexual sense, and it slowly pushes them into a state of madness. Are you talking about that kid in the next door? Cho Aiwi suddenly asked him. When she used her spiritual sense a while back, Tang Hu was the first person she noticed because of their distance. However, because there was no relationship between them and she couldn't be bothered by a mortal like Tang Hu, she didn't even bother to stop to wonder about his condition. Su Yang nodded and said, that fool somehow managed to obtain a depraved technique and cultivated it, hence his sickly condition. If I don't quickly do something about it, he will not only cause great harm to himself but he will also hurt those close to him, if he hasn't already. He's just a single foolish mortal, why bother wasting your efforts on him? It was his decision to cultivate the depraved technique in the first place, and there is no reason for someone like you to help him. Although Choiwi exhibits deep care and affection for Su Yang, that was only because of the special position she gave Su Yang in her usually cold heart. As for Tang Hu, who she has no relations with, he is just another foolish mortal that is no different than an ant in her eyes, hence her cold reaction towards him.